basically all of the friendly crypto regulation that's going into place surrounding the current kind of administration, I think this just gets shut down, especially with Gary Gensler getting fired. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if like somebody from the administration steps in and says no.
In your favor from a lot of the individuals in leadership positions. So I don't know where this is going to go. Is it going to go anywhere? Maybe. Is it not? I'm not sure. I know Helium has a ton of money, or Nova Labs has a ton of money. They're more than capable to fight this. I don't know if this is going to be something that they're going to pay a fine and then move forward. I don't suspect this is going to be a shutdown Helium and as a whole. I don't think that was even a part of what this was intended to do. I think the biggest thing was to pay a civil penalty. The amount has not been determined, and to be barred from dealing in unregistered security offerings. So I don't know what that means as far as dealing in unregistered security offerings. Can they keep the current network? Can they expand the network? That's the kind of unknown as to what this is going to look like. Obviously, having this at a time where there's going to be a new SEC commissioner, new overall leaders in this type of portion of crypto, it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this. But in my opinion, I don't really think this changes a whole lot. I think this only makes it a legal aspect because there was a lawsuit. Everyone really knew all of these things previously existed. In this aspect, Gary Gensler, as his kind of, last act, wanted to, smear this in the face of Helium. I've had my personal tiffs with Helium in the past as far as some of the things that have happened on the network. But in the end, I think there's still a lot of positive things. I think there's a huge opportunity with what they're doing with their partnership with T-Mobile. Obviously, they have their partnership with Dish. I think there's a ton of potential in the 5G aspect. There is, and as you can look at the numbers, they're continuously growing. So I have nothing but positive things to say about Helium. I also think that if Helium loses in something like this is going to look really, really bad on the deep end sector as a whole, and it's really going to put it under a lot more scrutiny. I hope that's not going to happen. I hope that's not going to be the case. I really do hope that Helium has everything that they need to fight this. And I'm more than happy to even though Amir and I have had our differences in the past, I'm more than happy to have him on the channel and talk about, what does this look like for Helium? Whatever he is able to share, what he may not be able to share. I'm sure there's some that he's not able to share. But obviously he's pretty upset about this whole situation. He's talked about it.
Gotta ask Hobbyist what he thinks about
Twitter.
it.
So I'd be interested to see what he has. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts on this whole situation? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, smash up the like.
Make sure you guys go like the video. And that was pretty good. He caught me all up. So thanks, Tactical, for catching me all up on the deep end, or not the deep end. That's a different subject. But on Helium specifically with the lawsuit here. I knew about 2 of the 3 things. Like I said, I don't think any of it's big enough of a deal, in my humble opinion. I think he'll get all thrown out. At the same time, I don't think like it really went in the direction that or Helium, I don't think is headed in the direction where you're going to be able to, I guess, scale any meaningful revenue off of them, but I could be wrong. That's a whole other subject though. But yeah, I don't think the lawsuit's going to mean anything. So everybody, welcome Hobbyist Miner in. Thanks for stopping by, dude. Let's go ahead and do the rig wars submission for today. And it is from Scott. And we are going to go ahead and get that running for you guys right now. So we got the video ready. And boom. All right, so you guys can see it here. It should be up on the screen for you guys. Scott Air has submitted this build, and the rig name is the original 5700 5600 XT build. He submitted this back in April, obviously peak of the bear market there. So it's kind of showing something a little old off. As you guys know, I have like over 200 5700s and 5700 XTs. In this particular rig, he has 2 5700s and 4 5600 XTs. So a total of 6 GPUs on this rig. And it is a homemade case that he made himself, so got to give him props there. And an MSI B450 Gaming Max motherboard. So in reality, let me think. So that would be a Ryzen CPU. It's going to be the 2700X. So definitely old school as far as that's concerned. And I don't know about y'all, but I had for the longest time on any AM4 motherboard, I had a lot of trouble getting like more than 4 GPUs up and running. That's been by and large fixed now with a lot of BIOS updates, etc. But for a long time there, I had a lot of trouble with it. He's running 16 gigabytes of Crucial Ballistics, 3200 megahertz. So he can, like, obviously for the sweet spot of Ryzen, 3200 megahertz was right there where you get the best CPU performance out of it. So I'm assuming he's going to be mining some CPU coin, but we'll find out here in a second. He's running a 500 gigabyte Samsung SSD and an EVGA 850 watt gold rated power supply. I guess because you got enough of those low end cards, you know, what are we talking about? You need 4, I guess, depending on what you're mining, 4, 8, and take 8 PCIe Express. I feel like you should bump up the power on that, unless he didn't list another power supply, but I don't see any in the pictures. I think 850 might be pushing it just based off of the amount of power through a single rail in the power supply itself, right? So not based off of total capacity, but the rails for the PCIe power specifically. I'd have to look into it on the EVGA model specifically, though. He's running the FebSmart 006C risers. I have been testing a lot of risers lately, and I am by and large moving over to, of course, the Oculinks. And that is because the Oculinks will give you 4 lanes per card. And with the new AMD motherboards on AM5 platform, you can feed a lot of those cards over. And if you need even more over PCI, I think the best is like Oculinks in a Threadripper form factor. Or you could even go back to all the way back to like, what is the X59, but then you're going pretty far back on the CPU as far as that's concerned. And then he is mining Chlor on the GPUs and Zephyr on the CPU. And that was as of last week. So thanks to Scott for the submission. Hopefully he'll get to see this in the future. We have 2 submissions so far, one from Scott and one from Corey. You can watch the episode from Monday, and it should be timestamped there to see that submission. And we will do a runoff between the 2, or we'll be doing 2 more, and then we'll do a runoff between the 4 of them to see who wins that segment. So there you go. We'll do one every 2 weeks and then try to do a competition at the end. If you want to submit your rig, go down into the description and click the Submit Your Rig button. I do require that you send at least 5 photos. I make a little montage for you so you can show that off to your family and say, look, I'm famous, I'm on YouTube. So there you go. Thanks. Oh, Scott is in Raven and Raptorium now, Scott says. So that's what he's mining. And I'm glad you're here, Scott. That's cool. Heck yeah. That's the way it's supposed to go. Nice, clean rig. I will say, we started things off with a bang with Corey's fully liquid cooled monstrosity. So there you go. So would the Oculinks be like having 2 PCI 16 on an AM5 motherboard? So an Oculink can go up to 8 lanes per cable. And so you can do basically, like you said, well, you would have 8 lanes per cable, a GPU per cable. You can do 2 cables per by 16 slot, right? And then you can take up your M.2 slots on the Oculink and run 4x, right? So you would limit your lanes on an M.2 NVMe, right, to 4 lanes, but you will get those 4. You will get 4 lanes, which is a lot more performance when you're talking about AI and all that sort of stuff onto those GPUs. In some cases, it's absolutely necessary with the newer GPUs, obviously. Intel being one of those where you have to have really more lanes to get everything out of them. But now Intel's completely borked everything with their with their driver package on the A750s now are also only getting 40 mega hash a second on Ergo. So it's been a pretty big disappointment on that front. Maybe we'll figure something out in the future, but as of right now, it's not looking too good. That is going to wrap up today's episode of the Crypto Mining Show. I want to thank everybody for sticking around and hanging out. I'm happy to be back in the space this weekend. It should be behind me. Let me get it for you guys. This weekend, I will be testing the B570. Intel B570 GPU live on Twitch at twitch.tv/blindrun and live on Kick at kick.com/blindrun. And then we will get all the data for the spreadsheet up and done, and we will post that obviously on locals first with all the data. So if you're a supporter over at sonofatech.locals.com, you'll be able to get the early numbers on the hash rates for this, and of course the 5090 next week. And then we will post the review on YouTube hopefully by Tuesday, as long as work permits and all of that, work schedule permits and all that sort of stuff. And then I am streaming game streams every Tuesday and Thursday on twitch.tv/blindrun, but I do reactions and cover cryptocurrency topics and news, etc. So if stuff is happening, I will browse real quick and make sure. I did not see any executive orders that were pro crypto regulation as of today, and I didn't see a strategic reserve announcement, but let me make sure that that didn't happen right now by just looking up, I guess, on Twitter. Let's see, Bitcoin strategic, oh, you can just strategic reserve, see if they announced anything. They did announce 20 states have announced starting accumulating Bitcoin, which is bullish as hell. And plus the United States is supposed to actually do that, but that's still rumored. I guess the only thing here is Trump did say something apparently. Let's listen to this and see what he has to say here.
We could have had a better relationship. I wish we could have had a better relationship between Republicans and Democrats. I was with Senator Schumer. I said, Chuck, I think it's time we all start getting along a little bit because it doesn't make sense. I mean, we literally never get a Democrat vote. They never get a Republican vote, almost. And although there is a bill coming up very shortly that we have a lot of Democrat votes, right? That's going to be a very beautiful bill. We're going to have a deciding, I would say, within a week or so, I think. And it's going to be a very good bill. You all know what I'm talking about. So
no, I don't know what he's talking about. It doesn't matter. All he said is we have a bill that's bipartisan and a lot of people are voting on it. Sorry that you couldn't hear it. I'll try to turn the next one up if we do it again. But I just got clickbaited. So screw Abundant Minds. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Show. If you would like to see more from this particular episode, take a look up here. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support me directly, you can go to sonofatech.locals.com and become a member. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday.